Well, welcome to the first day of the finals here at the Logitech British Fencing Championships 2017. We are here at Sports Dock at the University of East London, and the first gold medal match is in women's epee, presented onto the field of play. Our first gold medal match contender is Hannah Lawrence. And she will be taking on Lydia Stanier. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me in the commentary box for 3 gold medal matches tonight is Rob Caudron. Rob, how are you?
Hi Karen, very happy to be here, looking forward to the finals.
Yeah, it should be a really cracking evening here. Sarah Stacey from Ireland is going to be our referee, and she's going to be supported on the video by Florian van der Berg from Belgium. It's been a busy day for these referees here, hasn't it?
It has. It looks, across all the weapons, it looks like they've been very busy, worked pretty much non-stop, but looks like we're down to the final parts now, so I think everyone's looking forward to a bit of a nice finish.
Yeah, well, we've been contesting 3 weapons here today, and the culmination of these 3 gold medal matches. We're a tiny bit behind the clock, but we should catch that up. Women's epee gold medal match first, Lawrence against Stanier, and we'll follow that up with a bit of crash, bang, wallop, your favourite weapon, Sabre, and that's the men's Sabre, and that will be followed at 4:40 by the men's foil. Now, Hannah Lawrence from Wingerworth Fencing Club came through Katrina Smith in the quarterfinals, and then Hannah Nesbitt in the semi-finals. Lydia Stanier, well, she took out the number 2 seed Danielle Lawson, and then Rachel Barnes in the semi-final to make it through to here. So what do you make of this one? Last year's winner, of course, Hannah Lawrence, defending her title.
So early doors, I'm looking to see who's going to be trying to take control of the fight. So for me, I always feel that epee is about how well you're able to build and manage pressure. So build pressure on your opponent and manage the pressure that they're trying to put on you. So I'm going to be looking for who's trying to create the opportunities, who's able to deal with the pressure that the other person's building, not reacting to their opponent, but creating their own opportunities and really reacting on their own terms.
Yeah, first 3 minutes all important in epee. Now, if you're new to the sport, we know a lot of you will be watching this for the first time potentially. Epee is the easiest one to understand of the 3 weapons. The whole body's target, and it is literally the first one to hit. Target score is 15, and the fight's broken into 3 3-minute periods if required. And it's the only weapon where both fencers can score a hit at the same time, and that's called a double. And you'll be hearing Rob and I say that a few times in this fight. Now, it is interesting. We saw at the beginning there that what was the referee was doing. She was playing with the weapons. Can you just explain a little bit about what she's doing there?
Yeah, sure. So there's 2 requirements on the weapon in epee, which is they're hitting with the point, but they have to make sure that they hit with a certain amount of force. It has to be a minimum of 750 grams. So before the fight, the referee will check both weapons to make sure that it can lift a weight of 750 grams without being pressed. And that means that the fencers are now having to hit with sufficient force to actually score, and not just being able to score off of the lightest of touches.
Well, there you go. A brief explanation there. There's a little button on the end of the weapon, basically, and it's just got to carry a certain amount of weight. Is it something to do with dating back to sort of piercing the skin, enough force to puncture the skin?
I think that's sort of the historical idea behind it, is that you're hitting with enough force to pierce the skin is what it's trying to replicate. Yes.
A nice counteraction there from Lawrence to get us off the mark. Slightly delayed at the start of this match, but we are now well underway. And at the early stages, I have to say, marvellous that British Fencing have been able to get Logitech as a title sponsor for the first time. A big brand technology company coming in to support what essentially is the biggest domestic tournament in the sport.
It was a big surprise when it was revealed. It was just yesterday, wasn't it, when British Fencing announced that Logitech would be sponsoring the event. So it was a surprise for everyone on the eve of the competition.
Well, they came in as late sponsors, and we managed to get some banners put together, clearly, so they must have known for some time. But Logitech will be enjoying watching this final, and hopefully we'll get quite a lot of coverage from it as we are live for the second year in a row on YouTube.
Early on, it sort of feels like Hannah's doing most of the work in terms of trying to create opportunities. You just get Lawrence is creating most of the opportunities. I just feel that at the moment Nesbitt hasn't really found her range yet. She hasn't really found the action she wants to score with. She's just scoring off of almost trying to score out of nothing, not really preparing or setting up her actions. Hannah's scored 2 hits now, basically by just pressing down the piste and letting the pressure of the back line build. So
that's forcing Stanier out into an attack. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's encouraging it. She's keeping a bit further away, but she's always, if you can see now, she's just always. It's not rushing down the piste, but there's always this movement down towards Stanier's half of the piste, and she's just taking her time with it, just goading her into attacking. Because at the moment, Lydia's she seems to be waiting to just accelerate and score. She's not really setting it up and creating it as an opportunity. Seems to be relying. She's fast and she's powerful, and she seems to at the moment to be relying on that.
Well, certainly Lawrence at the moment is looking the more confident of the two fences, and as you say, the more creative. But of course, I mean, early days in an Epee fight, and they do, the priority is to not get hit. I mean, I know that sounds crazy in a sword fight, but you as well as trying to hit your opponent, you mustn't get hit yourself. So maybe Stanier is going to be thinking, right, I want to kill these 37 seconds and get down to the end of the piste and get a chat with my coach. For sure.
I think it's always a dangerous game to play. Psychologically, if you're thinking about not getting hit, because there's no way you're going to go through a day of fencing and not concede hits. You've got to be looking to score. In my opinion, you've always got to be looking to score. You've always got to be looking to think, where's my next hit coming from? How am I going to get it? If you happen to be able, to waste some time, sure, fantastic.
Yeah, well, she's going to have to try and kill this 14 seconds off because she's going to want to get to the break, and she don't want to let this gap grow too big. And it looks like we are going to go straight to that minute break, and the two fencers go down to their ends of the piste, and they get the chance to talk with their coach. Here we see Stanier. She's trailing 5-1. First minute break. What's the coach going to be saying to her at this stage?
So if I was, it looks like she's got Jess Gundry down her end of the piste, and Jess, very experienced, very accomplished fencer. If I were down Lydia's end of the piste, I'd be looking to say, okay, how are you actually trying to score your hits? What is it that how do you want to go and hit Hannah, and how are you going to set that up? Because at the moment, I'm not getting any real feeling of a game plan from Lydia, whereas from Hannah, it seems very much that she's looking to draw out. She's looking to basically just create pressure on Lydia, get her wanting to attack, get her wanting to lunge fast, and then she's either counter-attacking over the top of it, as she did twice early on, or she's now and then flipping between that and blocking it out and hitting on the riposte. And because Hannah's mixing up the two quite well, it's very, very difficult for Lydia. She doesn't know whether she wants to go fast and try and catch Hannah waiting to counterattack, or whether she wants to take it longer and try and go around any potential parries. And because she's not really setting up her actions that much, she seems to be just waiting and picking a moment to go, really based on whether Hannah's close enough. She's sort of having to play a bit of a guessing game, whether to go fast or whether to try and go around any parries that she thinks will come.
Well, there's your tactical analysis of the first 3 minutes, and what perhaps was the exchange between Lydia Stanier and Jessica Gundry, who's was fencing here today but didn't make the quarter-finals. Bit of a surprise for her, but she was acting as coach on this occasion, and let's see whether the tactical advice that she's given will help Stanier out of this hole. Now, they say in Epee, as we're in our second of potentially 3 periods, that a gap, well, there's a nice hit there from Stanier. That's a good start, and a bit of a round of applause from her fans in the audience here. They say in Epee, even a 2 or 3 hit gap as you get into that last minute of that final period seems, without actually technically getting bigger, seems to grow and grow and grow.
For sure. Scoreboard pressure, time pressure. I think it has the biggest effect in Epee of all of the 3 weapons, because it does take that little bit longer to set up a hit. It does take that little bit longer to create the opportunity. People tend to be, less willing to commit to feints, less willing to commit to strong actions that you can score off of.
And of course, if you're leading in Epee and you get towards the end, you've got that beauty of having to play for doubles.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily. You have to stay active, of course, but you can be a little bit passive and get a double there. And that's no good to. I mean, okay, too early to say it's no good to Stania, but it's not. There's no net gain for her. And as we get closer to the end, those doubles really will start to hurt.
For sure. I mean, okay, yes, that was a double there. Yeah, in terms of the scoreboard, that doesn't suit Lydia. But if you look. Now you can see she's being more positive. She's clearly trying to actually press Hannah, push her back, and create the opportunity to score. She's scored 2 now. Now, okay, you could argue that's quite a scrappy hit, but she created the opportunity. She created the mistake from Hannah. Hannah's reacting to her. So, I always say you earn that luck. You do the right thing and you earn the luck.
Yeah, and a left-hander against right-hander there. She's always going to have a closed out on the octave line in that low line parry. If you get on the outside, on the inside of your opponent's blade, for both of them. That's a little bit careless there, closing the distance up. Lawrence then taking the opportunity to go for a double on the counter. Still a fair distance away from the target score of 15.
Still a long, long way to go, I think. I feel like a couple more hits for Lydia with not much. If Hannah's maybe only gets a double or maybe a single out of it, feels like then we might be into something. Of course, now you see the other side of the scoreboard pressure. Lydia's got a plan now. She's looking to press. She's looking to put Hannah under pressure. But as you say, there's that scoreboard pressure starts to build. Every unforced error starts to feel like the end of the world.
Yeah, and crucially, it's a long time since I fenced, Rob, but crucially, getting into that double figures is a real spur for the leading fencer, even if it's 10-9. It's a spur to get to that 10, and it's crushing for the other opponent, because you suddenly think, they're really close to that final score now.
I always feel when you're trailing an epee and you get doubles, doubles are starting to come out, and this is a real test of your psychology. Do you trust your game plan? Do you trust your game plan that actually more often than not it will be a single? And that you just accept that there will be doubles along the way, that's fine? Or do you start trying to force the issue and actually turn those doubles into singles against you, and now you're really in trouble?
Yeah, well, just 15 seconds left in this second period. Potentially 3 periods of fencing, and we will definitely be going to that third period. And it looks like they will just back away from each other here, and it'll be up to Sarah Stacey to call a halt, and they do indeed go for a minute's break. Well, we go down to Stania again, and you see Jess Gundry approaching her. She, like you say, she did work a bit harder. She did impress herself onto the fight a bit more. Does the intensity of that pressure need to go up a little bit more?
I think it does. Yeah, I think she's got this idea of the plan of pushing, trying to build pressure on Hannah. I just don't think she's committing to it quite enough. In something like this, particularly if you're trying to use the piece to build the pressure, being somewhere between the on-guard line and the warning line, that's no good. Everyone is comfortable there. You've got to get them past the warning line. You've got to get the real threat of the back line building. Then you'll start to create real opportunities. And I feel like hopefully that's the sort of thing that Jess is going to be saying. You've got to take more time to prepare that hit, create that mistake. The only times I feel like that Lydia's really got hit is when she's jumped the gun a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe she's trying to go in that little bit too early. She's not set it up. She's not built enough pressure.
Yeah, we looked down on Hannah Lawrence, last year's winner, and definitely in the box seat here, looking to get a back-to-back national title. And for me, I think she's really got this one in the bag. It's hers to lose, isn't it?
She's looking very comfortable. It's a little bit like I feel it's a little bit like when you get a football match and you see the team goes 2-0 up and they start to sit back, they start to park the bus, and sometimes they invite the pressure and they end up losing 3-2, but sometimes, they're very good at just closing it out. They're very good at shutting up shop and not making mistakes. And Hannah, as you say, she won last year. She knows how to close out a final.
Yeah, and it's not like she's backed off here. She's still, she's moving down her end of the piece, but she's on the move the whole time, bouncing in and out and staying active on those feet, which is crucial in fencing.
Absolutely.
So this is the gold medal match in the women's epee individual tournament here at the Logitech British Fencing Championships 2017. Last year's winner, Hannah Lawrence, on your right, is looking to defend the title that she won last year over Lydia Stania. But what can Stania do to get back into this match?
Okay, so the double there, it's a good attack from Stania, but look where it took place. It took place just behind Hannah's on-guard line. That's nowhere near enough pressure. She is totally comfortable there. And again, we're just going from too far away. The scoreboard pressure starting is really telling. The scoreboard pressure on Stania is so much more than any other pressure that's being applied to Hannah Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence just picking off another one, as Rob was saying, Rob Caudron here, giving us our tactical knowledge of the sport here. He's saying she attacked from too far away, Stania, that time. Well, what that means is that she needs to close the distance between herself and her opponent before she starts the attack, otherwise her opponent sees it coming and has the opportunity to step away and pick off a counter-attack. And this time, even though a failed attack into the preparation from Stania from Lawrence didn't come off, she was still able to pick off the redouble as she's stepping away. It's almost like she can score at will here, and two away from the gold title.
It very much is, and I mean, so much of that is that Lawrence is comfortable. She's picking what she wants to do when she wants to do it, and Stania is so tense at the moment that she's unable to deal with a mistake from Hannah if she actually sees it. We've now actually more towards, we're now more like, and here we go, okay, so now we're actually in a decent part of the piece where Stania can score some hits, and she does. Maybe a little bit of pressure. I mean, you're absolutely right. The distance needs to close up. Now, you can do it one of two ways. You could actively close it yourself, or as you get closer to the back line, you start becoming a bit more reluctant to go backwards. You don't step back quite as far. You don't move quite as quickly. You don't want to go backwards anymore, and you can let the distance close almost passively. But you've got to really make them believe that they could go off the back. At the moment, just need more push.
Well, she is trying inside that final minute now, and Stania is going to have to press the go button pretty soon, isn't she?
She is. I mean, if she takes this calm, she's actually got a lot of time. But what Hannah's doing a really good job of doing is she's not giving ground easily. So she's giving, her point is always there. It's always on target. She's always giving Stania something to think about. So Stania can't push down the piece with impunity, but she's got to take it that bit slower. Every second that she's not attacking is going to be weighing really heavily on her.
Well, Lawrence just one away from retaining the title she won last year. Stania, with all the work to do and with 30 seconds left in the match, it almost looked like she'd given up a little bit. She's got such a big gap to close. She really needs to be doing this a lot faster.
It's very true, but by comparison, Lawrence looks absolutely focused. She looks like she knows exactly what she's doing. This is going exactly to plan. Double, absolutely fine.
Well, there you go. Hannah Lawrence takes the gold medal for a second year in a row here at the Logitech British Fencing Championships 2017 in the women's épée event. And there she is, shaking hands with the referee. A delighted fencer there. And brilliant, brilliant workmanlike performance. Nothing too flamboyant, nothing too flash, but she's defended the title she won last year.
For sure. I mean, it was a really good example for me of how to construct a fight. So early on in the first period, she put the pressure on. She pushed into Lydia's half of the piece. She got her lead early. I think she was 4-5-1 up at the end of the first period. From there, big lead like that, she's able to sit back and just let the scoreboard and the time do its thing.
Yeah, you can see how delighted she is there with her coach, and I believe those are her club mates there as well, congratulating her for the second title in a row at the British Championships, and a very, very happy Hannah Lawrence. So as we let the piste clear off and clear out, I can let you know that, well, you can see for yourself. The timetable's popped up as if by magic onto your screens. Next up, men's sabre. Perhaps the one you've been waiting for, Rob?
Yeah, there's no point pretending that I don't have my bias. I coach sabre full time. It's my full-time job, and so, yeah, I have been looking forward to this one. Will Deary against James Honeybone, two Truro fencers. Probably, maybe the expected final at the start of the day, but should be a really good... I'm looking forward to it just to see what these guys produce. They're probably the two best performing sabre fencers in the country at the moment. Will Deary had an incredible Junior World Championships. James Honeybone has been at the top of British sabre for years now. I'm just looking forward to seeing what these two bring out.
Yeah, well, they're just finishing clearing off the piste from the first gold medal match, and I think they actually, Rob, it looks like they're waiting for I think, a couple of officials to come out for this one. So tell us that these two both hail from the same club down in the southwest of the country, coached by the same coach. So we're not going to see a coach here in this final?
That's right, yep. John Southfield, the head coach at Truro, he'll be sitting on the sidelines, probably just enjoying the show and seeing what these two bring out. These sorts of matches can sometimes be, they can, as you know, they can be a little bit of a quiet affair. I feel like with James and Will, that's not likely to happen.
Sabre? Quiet? What are you talking about?
And exactly. I feel like with James and Will, that's unlikely. I think we're going to get the same intensity, the same energy, the same fight that you'd get from if it was any other two fencers here today.
Well, listen, this actually embodies the spirit of fencing in itself, because they're mighty, mighty competitors, but the best of friends off the piste, but they will go at each other on the piste. They take their masks off, they shake hands, and they're back to being best mates again, even though it's a national title up for grabs.
For sure. And you can see just off camera now, they're down there chatting away, perfectly happy, perfectly friendly. But for the 15 minutes or so that they're fencing, it's going to be very, very. It's going to be a very different interaction.
Well, stadium announcers are about to bring them out, so just to remind you, you are watching the gold medal matches on day one of the Logitech British Fencing Championships 2017, and next up it's the men's Sabre gold medal match, and there is the man himself, James Honeybone, in the Bumblebee tracksuit that Truro wear, and there's his teammate, clubmate and friend Will Deary. And look, you see the camaraderie between the two of them, but trust me, they are going to go out there and fence. And now coming out onto the piste, the referees Jake Rowley and Harry Boatler will be on the video. The video replay is used in fencing now. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Just to give you a prepper here for Sabre, it's a cutting weapon. That basically means that you can hit with the side of the blade as well as with the point. The target area is everything above the waist, and it's the referee's job to decide who the attacking fencer is. Right now, I'm going to take a step away from Rob here to give my very crude and primitive explanation of right of way. Basically, you've got to establish your turn to attack. If you are being attacked, you've got three options. You can get hit, that's not a great idea, so don't do that one. Or you can run away and make your opponent miss with their feet, or with your feet, make them miss. Or you can block with your blade, and that's called a parry. If you do either of the last two things, it's your turn to attack, and it's the referee's job to decide who has the final turn. Now, that is a very crude and primitive description, but it's as good as one as I've come up with, because there are lots of things like counterattacks and hits below the leg, which is effectively your right of way, but you don't hit the valid target area. So it's a bit more complicated than that, but that's a simple explanation. And the key thing here is this is the fastest of the three weapons, and blink and you'll miss it. It looks like we're ready to get underway. So all that remains to be said is fasten your seatbelts. It's Sabre time.
So always I feel when you're talking Sabre tactics, one of the first things that you want to know about a fencer is, are they attack first or are they attack second? By that I mean we're talking about the first immediate action off the line. Are they going to look to attack and score straight away, or are they going to look to drop their opponent short, parry them, whatever, and then score? James, I've always felt very much attack first. He's always looking to either get on the front foot and score very direct in the middle or sweep them down the piste. Will, much more, he wants to sit deeper in the middle, he wants to take a parry, he wants to make you miss, then he wants to sweep you down the piste. It'll be interesting to see how that plays, considering how well they both know each other and each other's games.
Well, immediate call for a video referral there from Will Deary. You get 2 per match, and what it is it's a bit like tennis, and it's a great innovation in fencing. The referee can choose to go and have a look at an action by him or herself, or the athlete can choose to go and have a look, ask the referee to review their decision by looking at the action in slow motion. They will watch it both in slow motion and in full speed. And we said the video referee is Jack Boatler. Well, the main referee is going to come through, and he's going to have a chat with the video referee, and they're both going to review the hit together.
Yeah, I mean, the referee on the piste has the final say. So Harry's role as video ref is he advises, he presents his opinion on the hit, and then the referees will have a discussion. But the final say is with the on-piste referee.
And what's he said?
This one they've overturned it. Both went in and stopped, but James is ever so slightly ahead.
Well,
very early days yet. Neither of them have really got their games working. No one's really shown a clear game plan. Twice now, though, when they've both gone in, both stopped, so both looking to make the other one miss, James has been the sharpest. He's been the one who's recognised the opportunity and taken it.
But, I mean, we're talking fractions of a second here,
Oh,
aren't
yeah,
we?
for sure. You're talking almost no time at all. And it's that ability to adapt your plan on the fly. So maybe you're going in looking to make the opponent miss, but then you see that they're trying to defend as well. Who adapts first? Who's the one who recognises the opportunity to go? That's where this fight is going to be decided.
Well, it's all going in one direction at the moment, and that is to, as Rob described in the sort of stalwart of men's sabre over the last few years, trains out in Hungary, in Budapest, with Olympic champion, no less, Aaron Zsilagi. Honeybone is all over this one. Look, Will Deary is he's the real deal. He trains very professionally, and he is what I'm going to dub the young pretender coming through. But he's certainly got bags and bags of talent.
For sure. I mean, Will is an absolute powerhouse fencer, particularly if you see him when he really he loves to use all of the piste. He's great for that. I love to see Sabre when it's, when you're not afraid to defend, when you're not afraid to go backwards, open out the piste and then be able to score. But James at the moment is just really showing his class.
Yeah, dominating both in attack and defence. As Rob was saying, the hits in the middle where they're both jumping in and out, having a look to see what the other one's doing. Well, Honeybone's coming out on top in the attack, and then he's put in two beautiful para ripostes as well in this period.
For sure, and I think that's an important change from James. Normally, I expect to see James attacking a lot in the middle, either in and then looking to hit them on preparation or just looking to wipe them out from play. But he's done a lot more defending. He's done a lot more looking to either go in and make Will miss or go in and, like he's done a couple of times, take the parry. And I think that's the sort of thing that might have unsettled Will's game a little bit.
So he's come in expecting a different fencer?
Possibly, yes. Okay, so here we see James now starting to look to attack. Expect to see some defence from one of them soon.
Well, he's off the mark, Deary. No challenge there from Honeybone, except that there was the slightest of, well, you don't like me to call it hesitation, do you? Deary goes first.
So basically, James is looking to push down the piste. He's expecting Will to go back. So he's getting ready. He's winding up to sweep Will down the piste, and because of that, he's that little bit late onto the attack. Gives Will the time to dive straight in and get there ahead. It's the sort of thing that if you're willing to use the piste and really willing to get back and defend, you create those opportunities in the middle. But you've got to either show that you're willing to go backwards, or your opponent's got to already know that you're the kind of person that likes to do that. Will scores a lot of hits by dropping people short and sweeping them down, and consequently, people try too hard on their attack. They take too long to build it up. They try and really wind it up from the start, and he's able to score a lot of attacks on preparation in the middle because people are just expecting to have to push him all the way down the piste.
Well, it's so fast to say, but they don't have a clock on this like we saw in the last match. The referee will give the fencers a break when the first fencer gets to 8 hits, and that is James Honeybone. 8-2 dominant, and a furious Will Deary. Throws his mask to the piste in disgust. He's not happy with his fencing at all there.
No, and it's a bit of a surprise because Will's. I'm not sure. We've not seen a lot of what I would call the way that Will Deary fences. I said before, he likes to make people miss. He's got phenomenal feet. He loves to move. He really can get out the way of people and then drive them down, sweep them down with a lot of speed and a lot of power. We've not really seen that game come out yet. I don't know whether it's a case of he doesn't trust it when he's up against James, or whether he's trying to play a different game, expecting James to know, what he might be bringing to the fight.
It's someone described it to me once as a tactical, logical circle. And I mean, this is sort of, the uber tactical, logical circle, because they both know each other. So they're both trying to trick each other and at the same time have the standard sort of, right, okay, last time I did the attack, I fell short, he made me miss. So this time I'm going to do a fake attack. You're trying to think 2-3 moves ahead. They call it physical chess. It's a big cliche, but they call this sport physical chess. And this really is a good example. You're deciding to make the move before the referee says go.
Okay, this is more like Will. He looks to start strong, looks to defend. He's able to take the attack. He had a much clearer plan, so he's able to actually see, okay, now there's an opportunity to go.
Well, he's come out on the attack, and now I think Honeybone's having a little chat with the referee just to clarify how the decision was made. So that
it looked to me like he was concerned about Will starting early. Will was very fast off the line. All right, so now we've had 2 out of the first 3 points of this. Will is now looking to defend, coming out very, very clearly, fencing his game. Let's see if he's able to get any kind of foothold here.
I'll tell you what, the thing about Sabre is if you are trailing by that big margin, it is the one weapon where you can pull it all back very, very quickly.
It's not uncommon to see hits go in sort of clusters in Sabre, where one fencer will get on a roll, they might get 2-3 hits in a row. That's not terminal, because very quickly your opponent will reset, they'll go back to square one, then they'll start again brand new. You can score clusters of hits, but and that's not terminal. Once you get maybe 4 or 5 hits in a row, now we're talking a real problem.
Well, there's a bit of a debate going on.
Referee went to check that one on his own. James is attacking off the line. Will's maybe looking to hit him on preparation. So you can argue that one. Is James's attack good enough? Has he flown off the line accurately enough? Has he got the distance right? Is his arm doing anything strange and waiting? And
that's the beauty of the having the video
for sure.
Replay system,
Absolutely.
because the referee can go and have that look.
Yes. I think it's always a good sign when you've got a referee who's willing to check of his own volition. Now, this feels like a crucial point in the match. A couple of times, I think that's fair.
Yeah, he's overturned the hit, and now this is what I don't understand. When the referee's gone to have a look at the video, made a call based on that review, and then that comes back and gives the hit, and then the other fencer asks for a video review. Well, he's already reviewed the video. How's he going to change he's not going to change his mind again, is he?
Unlikely. I think that Will's frustration is that he feels like he's defended twice. He scored 2 strong points at the start of the half with defense. He now feels like he should be able to create the opportunity to attack James on preparation, because James might be thinking about pushing down the piece more. But James is experienced, and he knows that that's the sort of game Will likes to play. He's just attacking really strong off the line.
Well, he's pretty
I feel like if Will wants to create that, he's just got to defend that a little bit more. Now he's in danger of throwing it away. Yeah,
one-dimensional approach there. No acceleration through that attack, just fast from the start. And Deary looking very, very disappointed here. He needs to get himself out of that mindset to get himself back in the fight.
Much better.
Is that a big hit there over the top?
I think so. Sabre sometimes whip over the top of the mask. It looks like it probably caught James towards the back of the head.
Made a tough stuff, though, the Sabreurs, and you may not have caught Deary there, just putting his hands up to apologise. He did what we call a flunge, a combination between a fleche, which is the running attack in fencing, and a lunge, which I'm sure all of you know about. And Sabre, you can't cross your legs going forwards. That's a punishable offence. So the flunge came about as a result of that new rule. What, crikey, 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah, easily. Okay, Will's now changed up his tactics. He's not looking to hit him. He's not looking to score in the middle, but he's used his defense now. He knows that it's almost like I know what you know that he knows. So James knows that Will wants to hit on preparation, so he's looking to defend it. He's looking to maybe drop it short or parry it. Here we go. Now he's created the opportunity. He's defended a bit. Now he's done some big attacks. Now he's making James rush in the middle. Will's breaking open the piece nicely now, and he's in it much, much more than he was.
Well, it's turning this one around. Will Deary It looked like Honeybone was just going to run away with this, but his teammate, clubmate, and country fellow, they're both on the British team, has come back into this, and I think the referee called that simultaneous, and Honeybone calls for a video review there. Your thoughts on that particular hit?
Hard to say. You could give it attack right for James. You could give it as together. I think both are fair. I think it might end up as James is looking at the video from where we are. It's an important point, this one, because Will's adapted his tactics well. Calling a video for James is maybe not the worst idea in the world, just to settle himself and give him a bit of a moment just to think about how he's going to approach the final third of this fight, really. Well,
the referee's had a good look at that, and Jake Roddy's come back and given nothing. And we're wondering what John Southfield, the coach of both of these fencers, was doing. Well, he's squatting down by the video replay system, keeping a very close eye on things here.
Okay, now both trying to really push their attacks, both trying to sweep through. Neither of them have really been able to attack on preparation in the middle that successfully. So it's been about strong defense and strong attacks as well. Either attacking down the piece or defending out of the middle.
Well, it's kind of slowed up a little bit, but it gives us a bit of time to actually sort of breathe and talk, which is unusual for a men's sabre match. But as you suggested at the beginning, Rob, sometimes when clubmates get together in a big match like this, you can find a bit of a gritty affair follows.
Sure, really good point from James there. So they've both been flying off the line, either flying off the line and attacking straight away or flying off the line and defending straight away. James takes the brave option. He slows right down off the start and uses that to be able to watch what Will's doing and then goes. Will basically throws it straight back in his face and does exactly the same to him.
Well, still absolutely nothing in this really now that Deary's pulled himself back into this. Of course, Truro, very famous for their elite fencing centre, but perhaps Sabre is the strongest of the weapons. But they had the national title in all levels, both men and women, up until last year when Jonathan or JJ Webb from Camden Fencing Club won this title. He got knocked out a little bit earlier on today. I was not happy at all, I can tell you, because he's stationed himself right in front of me here, and that's a beautiful parry riposte on the back line. But it looks like we knew coming into this that Truro were going to steal back the men's national title. The question is which one of these fencers is going to get it at the moment. The momentum has shifted back towards Honeybone.
For sure. Tactically, they're probably basically at a deadlock at the moment, but it's just James able to pull out a parry when he really needed it.
Yeah, and right on the back line, it looks spectacular as well. The referee's not going to separate those. So remember, the target score here is 15 to take the Logitech British Fencing national title in men's sabre. Honeybone won away. Deary, well, he's gone through the emotions here in this match. He was absolutely furious at the end of the first period. He then managed to pull himself back together again, and he came out and he really looked like he was getting a grip of this match. But Honeybone has used all his experience here to try and get over the line and take the national title.
I think the score at 14-10 now. Expect James he's going to look to slow it down in a minute, see if he can get a reaction out of, and just see what Deary's going to do. He's going to look to just change the pace of the fight. It's been 2 points now. It's been very fast. 2 fast attacks, then 2 fast defense, where they're both looking to defend. Deary's able to take it, but expect over the next couple of hits, James is really going to slow down the fight and change the pace. See if he can draw Will into a mistake early, a fast mistake.
Well, Honeybone gets out of the way of the first one, but then concedes the right of way, and Deary is back within 2. This is not over.
No, it is not. The biggest comeback I've seen in Sabre was from 13-3 down.
For me, that was a parry riposte. I think the referee had to think about it, but he has awarded that hit to James Honeybone. I don't think that Deary's going to call for a video, even if he has any left. And the national title does indeed go to James Honeybone.
I think fair call on the last one. Will may be looking to find the blade, but those sorts of hits are difficult, and James just looks like it lands flat on James's guard. Big parry for James in riposte.
Yeah, clearly pumped up and delighted there, James Honeybone, and he has become the national champion here at the Logitech British Fencing Championships 2017 in the men's sabre individual discipline. One more gold medal match to go, and that is in men's foil. That'll be coming up almost immediately. I can see that the fencers are already out and ready to go. I think quite fairly. The organisers are just giving Will Deary a little bit of time to calm down. He's not very happy at all. That's the spirit of this young man, though, because I mean he's got the best part of his fencing career well ahead of him.
Oh, for sure. Like Will is just finishing his final season as a junior, so he's just finishing his final season as under 20. He had a good performance at the Junior World Championships. Individually, he came in the top 8, and in the teams, he really led the team to a top 4 finish. Just missing out on a medal, but his personal performance for that team was incredible. It was in particular in the semi-finals against Russia. He put in an incredible final leg to take GB almost from dead in the water to very, very close to winning it.
Yeah, fine career ahead of Will Deary. I'm sure we'll see him again in a national final, but Honeybone steals the gold, becomes the national title holder. One more final to go, though, and I think they're just about ready to go, and that is the men's foil gold medal match. You're here watching the gold medal matches from day one of the Logitech British Fencing Championships 2017. I'm Karen Bashir, joined in the commentary box by our fencing expert Rob Cauldron, and here they come. It is Richard Cruz, perhaps the most famous name in British fencing in recent history. He came 4th, agonisingly close to a medal at the Rio Olympic Games, and he is the top seed coming into the tournament. He was the number 1 seed coming out of the pools, and he'll take on perhaps a bit of a surprise package in Matthew Billing from Sal Boston, Cruz fencing under the ZFW Ziemek Wojciechowski Fencing Club, and Matthew Billing coming from Sal Boston, coached by Jonathan Weeks. So this is a bit of a surprise.
For sure. I mean, I watched some of Matthew's fencing earlier in the day, particularly his quarterfinal against Marcus Mepstead. He fenced very, very well in that. I spoke to him shortly before he fenced it, and he was perhaps understandably quite nervous. But he fenced incredibly well against Mepstead, and his last 2 results have been 15-14 wins.
Yeah, so as you say, he came through Mepstead in the quarterfinals and then beat Keith Cook in the semi-finals. And Richard Cruz, you might be thinking, where is James Andrew Davis, a 2014 European champion? Well, he got knocked out by Cruz in the semi-finals. Cruz having beaten Kamal Minot from Newham Swords in the quarterfinals. Our referee for this match is Indra Ngagawa, and she'll be joined on the video by Alex Beardmore. So the referee, again, as we saw in the Epee match, testing for weight and foil. You've got the weapon must hold 500 grams of pressure. The target area is the torso, everything apart from the head, arms and legs. And like Sabre, it's a weapon of convention, so the referee decides who the attacking fencer is. Right, you've got to favour Richard Cruz for this one, right?
I think it's hard to argue against Richard's record, particularly in the British Championships.
Multiple winner. Now we're back to our 3 sets of 3-minute periods if required. Target score is 15 hits again, and we're sure to be seeing a minute's break unless Cruz just decides he wants to get straight on the accelerator and take this one to Billing early. And that might not be a bad idea, because Billing has kept his previous 2 competitors very honest. So the Mepstead fight, as you said, was a really close one, but it was close throughout. It wasn't like Mepstead pulled away. Perhaps Cruz is going to be thinking, right, I need to get a few hits lead. That's a lovely little feint disengage to get him to 2 hits. What are your thoughts?
It'll be interesting to see what the approach Richard takes. I tend to feel that he's he's very happy in his half of the piste, where he is now, down towards his back line and warning line. Very, very comfortable on all areas of the piste. But early on, driving really powerfully, really purposefully out on the attack. Feels like he's trying to make a little bit of a statement.
Again, another faint disengage. Now, you see, I've been lucky enough in my travels to follow Mr. Cruz around the fencing circuit, and because of my other employee, I have to remain neutral in my assessment of everybody's work on the piste. But I can tell you now that we're here at these Logitech British Fencing Championships. This guy is a world-class act. He's a tactical genius. I talk to other fencers from other countries around the world that have to fence him, and they say on his day, Richard Cruz can beat anyone in the world. And the good news is, it looks like he's going to carry on for another 4 years and try and get into the Tokyo Olympic Games, which would be an amazing feat.
For sure, that'd be a big news for British fencing and for Richard Cruz. At the moment, the difference for me really is just the purpose and fluency of Richard's movement. He's so comfortable going backwards, and he's so strong going forwards. It's almost he's overpowering Matt at the moment. And when he builds up his attack, he's able to score. Okay, so Matt now, he's clearly made a decision that he's not going to give Richard the space, not going to give Richard the opportunity to build those attacks and get his momentum going. He's very keen to take the attacks early on.
I should also mention that, we said that Jonathan Weeks coaches Matt Billing, but it's also Tomek Walicki, who's the head of Sal Boston, and he's actually the man down on the side of the piste offering Matt Billing coaching, staying very calm. But he always does. Tomek, he doesn't ever sort of lose his rag and his composure. And I find that's, he used to coach me, believe it or not, all those moons ago. And he's patience and his calmness is a good influence on a fencer in a difficult situation.
I know Tomek well. I work with him at Oxford University, and you're absolutely right. He's a very calm, very measured person. I think as a coach, you've got to be adaptable to what your fencer needs. Some people need calming down. They need being kept on a level. Some people need firing up. And you as a coach, it's your responsibility to adapt to that.
Well, Billing was looking in a lot of trouble. He's managed to sort of shore it up in the middle and sort of stop the rock, but Cruz, with all that experience, is just plugging away and picking off hits here and there. It's almost Italian in the way that he's doing it. You look down at the score, it doesn't seem like much has happened, and he's got a 5-hit lead.
There's a good expression I think the England rugby used to use, which was build a score, which you just take your opportunities when they appear. I mean, what's happening is that Matt knows that if he gives Richard time and space to create his hits, he's in real trouble. So he's getting in close, he's getting in fast, and he's trying to spoil Richard's preparations. He's trying to just not allow him to build up any momentum, any head of steam, any rhythm. The problem with that is it's an extremely high risk strategy. You make a lot of mistakes. Mm-hmm. You have to commit early. You have to commit to big early actions. And that will present opportunities if Richard is calm enough to take them. Now, you'd expect with all of his experience that he absolutely would be. Richard just taking that little bit longer now to set up his attacks when he starts them. So he's dropping that short, being patient, not charging, not driving down the piece straight away. He's just taking a little bit of time, seeing what's on. Is Matt looking for that early counterattack? And just by taking that time, he really kills that option. You can take that away from Matt. Now he gets a bit of liberty. He's got some space, and he can finish calm.
With the greatest respect to Matt Billing, who's having a cracking day, congratulations to him for making the gold medal match, and he's still in it. But Richard Cruz looks like he's having a bit of fun, doesn't he? He's fencing well, but he's obviously very, very confident that he's going to win this gold medal. So he's actually showing us his best fencing because he's playing.
I'd always like to think that I think the best fencers, even in the biggest stages under the toughest pressure, they still look like they're playing. The best ones always look like they are enjoying the process they're going through, enjoying the fight as a whole.
Oh, that's a beauty. That's a beauty. Billing step was too big, essentially, and Cruz saw it straight away, picked up a A beat flick to shoulder.
I mean, this is sort of what I was hinting at earlier, that Matt's having to commit so early. He can't afford to let Richard push him down the piece, so he has to attack. And he isn't attacking on his terms. He's charging in, he's rushing, everything's very fast. He's giving Richard lots of opportunity. Now, it's on Richard to be composed enough to actually take those opportunities, which he's doing phenomenally well.
But it's the hand speed in those close quarters. A number of times they've got themselves close together. They've both gone, oh, crikey, we haven't hit. And Cruz just responds immediately. It's almost like a natural instinct. He can just flick around the back. So one away from taking yet another national title. And a counter riposte from Richard Cruz takes him over the line. He is the men's foil champion here at the Logitech British Fencing Championships. What a thrilling victory from Richard Cruz.
And in control from start to finish. Showed us right at the start that he was going to use the whole piece. Push down, very quick, very aggressive in the first couple of points. Forced Matt into this aggressive counter-offensive, really to try and just spoil the fight almost, turn it into a scrap. And Matt was able to claw some hits back that way, but Richard was equal to that and was able to start really showing his defensive skill with a lot of counter-attacks, parries, the lot.
Well, brilliant. Day one gold medal matches. Tomorrow we have another day of gold medal matches. It will be women's foil gold medal, followed by men's epee and women's sabre. These are the preliminary times. These are subject to change today. We brought forward the schedule by nearly an hour. So I don't think we'll be quite as lucky as that tomorrow. But rough idea, about 2 o'clock will be our start time tomorrow. I'm Karen Basher. Rob Cauldron, been a pleasure having you in the box. Will we have you back tomorrow?
I am back tomorrow. If you'll have me, I'll be up here again.
Great stuff. That is the end of the coverage from day one of the Logitech British Fencing Championships 2017. We'll be back tomorrow.